Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into Assassin's Creed Shadows. I've spent a decent amount of time with it, and while it definitely has its bright spots, there are a lot of frustrating issues. So let's break down my experience and see if it's worth your time. First off, let's talk about the visuals. This game is gorgeous. The world building is impressive with high quality environments, character models, and lighting that really brings the setting to life. It's the kind of world where you can easily get lost in, but honestly, that's about where the brilliance ends. The game does have a slow start. The first few hours are mostly spent in a tutorial, and while I get it, it drags on. You spend a lot of time watching cutscenes with only about 30 minutes of actual gameplay before being hit with more story. It feels like it's trying to build a narrative, but it slows the pace down way too much, especially when you're itching to dive into the action. The story follows a classic revenge arc where you pursue 12 targets. Each target has an initial quest that unlocks a series of additional tasks. Completing these tasks eventually leads to a final quest to eliminate the target. This cycle repeats for each target. While it has a few twists, the overall structure is simple and quickly becomes repetitive, lacking much in terms of innovation. Let's talk about Yosuke. For the first 8 to 10 hours, he's locked off, and even when you do unlock him, he can't use parkour or climb as fluidly as other Assassin's Creed characters. He's a tanky, high damage combat focused character, which might appeal to some, but if you're expecting the usual stealth and smooth movement, you'll be let down. I spent most of my time as Naue, aiming for that full assassin style experience. Early on it was tough. The game often pushed me into combat, which made it hard to rely on stealth, but once I played a bit more, everything clicked. The real issue came when I couldn't assassinate certain enemies, which ruined the power fantasy for me. Sure, you can turn on one-shot assassinations, but that ruins several skill tree perks, so it's a disappointing trade-off. Exploration feels a bit off. Quests give you a general direction to go, but you end up wandering or relying on scouts to find your destination. And these scouts are necessary for gathering resources during sieges, which turns them into a punishment. You miss out on rewards you could have earned while exploring, and it just doesn't feel right. Combat is basic. You've got light and heavy attacks, parrying and dodging, but it feels stiff compared to other entries in the series. It's functional, sure, but it lacks the fluidity and excitement we've come to expect from an Assassin's Creed game. If you've ever played a game with follow quests, where you walk slowly behind someone while they talk, then you know how tedious it can get. Assassin's Creed Shadows has plenty of these. Half of the main story felt like me just following someone around, waiting for a conversation to end. The auto-follow option helps a bit, but it's more of a band-aid than a solution. Then we have the cutscenes, and well, there are a lot of them, which is fine for a story-driven game, but when you're constantly switching between cutscenes and follow quests, it gets old fast. I found myself asking, when do I actually get to play? It really interrupts the flow of the game. Another frustration of mine is the fact you can't control the day-night cycle. Some content relies on specific times, and not being able to adjust it can be a hassle. Stealth segments, especially during castle sieges, are hindered by this, and it feels like a missed opportunity. The game has many added features such as the hideout, which sound cool at first, but by the end, it just feels like many are forced extras. They don't really add much to the experience, and I ended up ignoring or giving up on most to focus the main story and gameplay. And of course, there were bugs. Enemies reviving instantly after being assassinated, and animation breaks. These kind of things start to wear on you, especially in a AAA game that's been delayed twice. It just feels sloppy. On the flip side, the new stealth mechanics, like going prone, extinguishing lights, and using the grappling hook, those were cool. They added a lot of depth to the gameplay, and I found myself enjoying the sneaky elements a lot more than I expected. However, the difficulty is a huge issue. On normal, the game is embarrassingly easy. I barely had to try, and I'm someone who usually plays on normal difficulty. I'd recommend turning it up to expert for a more challenging experience, but even then, combat still feels like it's missing that punch. So, what's the final verdict on Assassin's Creed Shadows? It's fine, it's playable, but it's not the return to form I'd hoped for. The world is beautiful, the stealth mechanics are fun, but the story, combat and quest design often left me feeling frustrated. I wouldn't recommend it at full price, but if you catch it on sale, or if you've got Ubisoft Plus, it might be worth giving it a shot. Thanks for watching everyone, be sure to like, subscribe and let me know in the comments, have you played Assassin's Creed Shadows? What were your thoughts? Catch you in the next one. See ya.